Hi, this is Kurt from Canada Manhole, and I just wanted to do a short video on cost-effective strategies to combat inflow and infiltration, mainly dealing with the manhole chimney section. Now, as an overview, we'll go over what is inflow and infiltration, I&I, what are the costs of I&I, what is a manhole chimney section, and why did they fail so quickly. So as a definition, inflow is stormwater that directly enters the sanitary system, and infiltration is stormwater and groundwater that indirectly enters the sanitary system through faulty joints and cracks in pipes, laterals, and manholes. Now here's a couple quotes about inflow and infiltration. You can see what the urgency and concern is of a lot of these agencies. According to the EPA estimates, infiltration and inflow represents almost half of all flow at treatment plants. Infiltration and inflow is a huge problem, and it only worsens over time if it is not addressed. Here's Metro Vancouver did quite an extensive report last year, and I took a quote from it. It says, since 2002, Metro Vancouver and its members have committed through 2 liquid waste management plans to better manage and reduce I&I. However, progress in I&I reductions over the last 20 years have been mixed. Consequently, excessive I&I has not been sufficiently reduced in all areas, and I&I continues to consume sewer capacity allocated for future capacity growth, as well as contribute to sewer overflows during wet weather. Now, essentially, they're saying that when they designed these systems, they didn't anticipate all this I&I, and now these systems are too full for the current systems and for future growth. So here's some sources of infiltration. We have manholes, we have joints in pipes, lateral connections, and illegal hookups. Now here's some common repair solutions for infiltration. We have chemical grouting for manholes, we have cured in place pipes, trenchless spot repair, slip lining, manhole injections, manhole spray liners, and there's a few more. Now, they're all effective solutions, but the problem is they're very expensive, they're very evasive, they're time consuming, and they have high social impacts in the sense that you might have open trenches for days or weeks, you might have closed roads, you have noise, you have safety hazards. And really, all these problems are avoidable. It's just bad construction techniques and methodology. Now, I think the low-hanging fruit of I&I is the manhole chimney section, and that's repairing the zone between the manhole structure and the frame and cover. And now this goes for repairing existing manholes, which are currently failing, and for new construction of manholes where we can create a robust design so these manhole chimney sections don't fail in the future. Now here's a table showing the flow of water through a crack around a 27-inch diameter manhole. And this is a pretty common size in the Lower Mainland. A 16th inch of a crack will cost the stakeholders around $1,355 per manhole at a sewage rate of $3 per 1,000 gallons at a static pressure of 1 psi. Now, if you look at the row with an 1/8 of an inch crack, the costs are compounding. This is the information in this table is why Metrovan is so concerned about I&I. These costs compound as our infrastructure is getting older and as tax revenues are getting more scarce. We as engineers need to figure out solutions to wisely preserve these assets and these budgets because they'll quickly explode. Now, this is the typical results using the traditional methods of adjusting manholes. Manhole adjustments have not changed much over the last century. Traditionally, string lines and levels are used to estimate elevation and grade, which typically results in an inaccurate adjustment. Also, the concrete rings and shims used to hold up manhole castings are prone to structural failure, leading to a sunken and leaking manhole. And I feel that addressing this issue with the manhole chimney section gives you the biggest bang for your buck in regards to I&I and the return on investment. The amount you're going to save, if the cost of the repair will be paid off within a year or two for the I&I and the cost of you have to do the repair anyways for an existing manhole that's failing. You know, our method costs less for existing manholes, and our strategies for like new roadworks would eliminate I&I issues and future legacy repairs, you know, that the city is grappling with. Concrete riser rings and grout perform poorly in regards to dynamic loading of vehicle traffic. Grout is also very susceptible to cracking in hydrogen sulfide environments, leading to groundwater infiltration through the failed manhole chimney section. Now, there is no standardized method for adjusting manholes. Using string lines and feel with rigid concrete rings and shims make it, virtually impossible to get these castings level. And, as you can see from this picture, this is a pretty common problem. Once the water and the hydrogen sulfide and the constant pounding of the traffic hit this concrete ring, they just turn to dust. And then this is inevitably what you'll be end with. Once those concrete rings have failed, there's not much holding up this casting above the manhole section. So, driving around, you'll notice most manholes are not level with the road, or worse yet, have started to fail. The traditional method inevitably leaves an expensive, time-intensive legacy repair issue. Most manholes are not level the first day the road is open to the public, and most would not pass the city specifications of a plus or minus 6 mil tolerance level. Now, different cities have different tolerance levels, but this is pretty common. It's quite common that within a few years after constructing a road, some or most of these manholes start failing. The traditional way that we currently adjust these manholes make it impossible to get a constant, robust result. Manhole adjustments performed the traditional way will inevitably end up with an early stage repair. Traditional manhole repairs are capital and resource intensive. Even after the traditional manhole repair is completed, the new asphalt is prone to regular maintenance and future repairs. Once failure is started, it seems to be a never-ending problem that constantly uses up valuable finite resources. It seems like every road, over 5 years has these diamond-shaped repair scars, and once you repair it, you still haven't really addressed the real issue, of these concrete rings, which will end up having to be repaired again in the next few years. It's really, there's no real excuse why these manholes should be failing this quickly. So here's our robust engineered solution. It's a repeatable process. Our tolerance, we can get within those plus or minus 6 mil tolerance levels of the city every single time. It's 2 to 3 times faster. It's up to 30% cheaper. It will last decades since we use reinforced concrete. It's watertight and it's perfectly level. So you can see from the cross section that we use reinforced concrete, and it ends up being about 55 MPa, which is almost twice as strong as your standard curb. We seal the top and bottom of our pipe and wrap it in hydrophobic water stop so no water will get in, and it's chemical and hydrogen sulfide resistant. So here's a repair that we did for the City of Surrey and the Ministry of Transportation. They had a manhole that had a 2-inch riser ring that was dislodged and was coming off. When traffic would run over it, it would actually pop right off, exposing the whole manhole. So we went in and extracted the casting and put a new casting on, and 4 hours later we had a manhole that was ready for traffic. Now here's some before and after pictures. These manhole and catch basins are ready for traffic 4 hours after breakout. They're 30% cheaper than traditional methods and will last decades, and on top of it looks a lot better than a diamond mark, in my opinion. So you can see at the bottom there, this is a catch basin we did at a parking lot, and if you go to the store, you can see that most of these after a few years are starting to fail. So, if you decided to go with this strategy right on the onset after you pave, you did this, you would save so much money because almost all these catch basins will fail, and if you use our methodology, these things will last for decades, and it will ultimately be cheaper than calling in a company to come and put an ugly scar diamond patch around these catch basins. So I took this picture of a brand new pave, and this is a pretty standard result. See, these companies have to adjust these manholes before they do top lift, so they're guessing with string lines, and they really don't have a baseline to work off of. So they're just guessing with string lines, and and levels, and this is a pretty standard result which will inevitably lead to an early stage failure. Now here's our solution. We have the paving company come in and they pave as if those manholes do not exist. They pave right over top of them, but then they scrape the asphalt off just so we can access them. We come in and as if we're doing one of our standard repairs, and we leave the casting 50 or 60 mils high depending on how large how deep the top lift is, and we can have the casting be a perfect reflection of base lift. So you'll be left with a manhole that is completely watertight and will last for decades since there's a reinforced concrete collar around it. So what is the cost of a manhole minor adjustment? Now for those that don't know, this is a typical unit price in a paving contract. The owner pays the paving company per manhole that they adjust using the old methods of string lines and shims and concrete rings. Now a typical unit price for a paving contractor to adjust a manhole the traditional way is $1,000 to $1,500, and I've even seen it even higher. So there's other agencies such as Metrovan and Hydrotel. They have their own third-party contractors come in that they trust to do their manholes, and the cities tend to leave these with the contractor, but if the cities decide to use our methodology and have us come in, our costs are around $1,000 to $1,200 for a new pave. So if you have 8 or 10 manholes on a new road construction, we will be cheaper, or will be more than likely cheaper than the paving contractor. And instead of being left with a manhole that is probably going to fail within 5 years, you'll have a watertight manhole that will last for decades. So when you take this asset over in a year, you won't have to worry about it. Why would you use our method instead of the traditional method of adjusting manholes? We're more cost effective in the sense that our upfront costs are more than likely cheaper, and you won't have legacy future problems. Our robust engineered design will last decades and save on future repair costs. It will eliminate I&I in the chimney section. It will be watertight and hydrogen sulfide resistant. And it will be perfectly level, making it safe for motorists. So instead of leaving the adjustment to the contractor and inevitably being left with a repair issue a few years down the road, if you choose us to adjust these manholes using an engineered methodology, and it will save you money up front and in the future in regards to future repairs and I&I. Well, thanks for watching the video. If you want any more information, you can go to our website at canadamanhole.com, or you can email me. My name's Kurt. It's CURT @canadamanhole.com. All right, thank you.